Many years ago, there lived a girl called Adaego, fondly called Ego by everyone in Umuike village. Ego was the kind of girl people turned their heads to look at whenever she passed. She was tall, fair-skinned, and had the kind of beauty that made men stutter and women hiss if beauty alone could cook soup. Ego's pot would never run dry, but there was a problem. Ego's beauty was matched only by her laziness and her pride. She lived with her parents in a modest compound, yet she carried herself as though she were the daughter of a king. She would wake up late in the morning, stretch like a cart, and stroll lazily to the veranda while her mates were already fetching water, sweeping compound, or hawking goods in the market. If her mother dared to complain, Ego would simply smile and say, Mama, don't stress yourself. My own is not to carry load or wash clothes. Oh. My husband will soon come and take me away in a big car. Am I not a virgin? And am I not beautiful? It was this virginity matter that Ego carried on her head like a basket of tomato. To her, it was the greatest achievement of her life. She reminded everyone who cared to listen, and even those who didn't, that she was still untouched. At the salon where women gathered to gossip and braid hair, Ego would sit majestically and find a way to add her virtue into the conversation. One day, Mama Nkechi, the salon owner, was complaining about her husband's drinking habits. Out of nowhere, Ego inserted herself into the conversation. That is why I am taking my time, she said, crossing her leg proudly. After all, I am still a virgin. I cannot waste myself on just anybody. Oh. My husband must be a rich man, a man who deserves me. The women burst into laughter. One of them muttered under her breath, Virginity cannot cook soup. Oh. Another added, if beauty and virginity were enough, our daughters wouldn't be learning handwork. But Ego didn't care. She believed strongly that her untouched state and fine face were the ticket to wealthy man's house. The villagers were already used to her constant bragging. Some rolled their eyes, others pitied her parents, who were growing weary of her arrogance. In Umuike village, a beautiful girl hardly lacked suitors, and Ego was no exception. In fact, it seemed as if every eligible bachelor and even some married men with itchy eyes had tried their luck with her. There was Chike, the hardworking farmer who had acres of yam barns. He approached her one evening with his cap in his hands, his eyes shining with sincerity. Ego, you know I have always admired you. Come and be my wife. I will take care of you. Ego looked him up and down as if it were a broken chair. She burst out laughing and said loudly, enough for passers-by to hear. Chike, please shift. Oh. Do I look like a woman that will be cooking yam morning, afternoon and night? A virgin like me deserve a man who will drive me in a car, not that one that will give me blisters in the farm. Poor Chike walked away embarrassed, while the children nearby laughed and mocked him. Then came UCHE, the palm wine tapper. He was cheerful and well liked in the village, always supplying sweet wine during festivals. One Sunday after church, he summoned courage and stopped Ego by the road. My Ego, he began, scratching his head nervously. I may not be rich, but I will make you happy. I will never let your calabash of palm wine run dry. Ego rolled her eyes. Uchenna, keep your palm wine for those who need it. I am not your type. I am still untouched and I deserve a better man, a man with money and class, not one whose clothes smell of palm wine all the time. Uchenna's face fell. He walked away and Ego strutted proudly as though she had won a prize. One after another, men came and went. Mechanics, traders, even young teachers who had just been posted to the village. Each time, Ego dismissed them with the same excuse: they were not deserving. The villagers began to whisper about her. Ego thinks she is the only virgin in the world. Some said she will soon overselect herself into old age. Others joked, Her parents shook their head each time a rejected suitor left their compound. They were beginning to fear that their daughter's pride would one day bring disgrace to their family. And when people thought that Ego had driven away every good man in the village, a new suitor appeared, one who made even the women in the saloon pause and whisper. His name was Dr. Obinna, a young medical doctor who had just returned from the city to work in the local hospital. He was tall, well spoken, and carried himself with quiet confidence. Unlike many city men, he was humble and respectful to elders. Mothers began to dream of him marrying their daughters. Fathers praised his intelligence. Truly, he was the kind of man any sensible girl would pray for. And who did he set his eyes on? Ego. Your guess was right. The doctor started visiting her family house, bringing fruits, provision, and sometimes small gifts for her parents. He took Ego out for walks and spoke to her gently about his dream for the future. For the first time, the villagers thought Ego would finally settle down. But Ego had other plans. She enjoyed the attention and especially the gifts, but in her heart, she believed she deserved even better. One evening, after weeks and months of courting, Dr. Obinna decided to propose. He stood in front of Ego's family, his voice steady and full of hope. Papa, Mama, I love your daughter and I want to marry her and build a future with her. I promise to take care of her and respect this family. Her parents, Ego's parents, exchanged glances of relief. Finally, a good man. They turned to Ego, waiting for her response. But Ego cleared her throat, raised her chin, and spoke with pride. Doctor, you are a good man, no, Obinna, but you are not enough for me. You may have money, you are trying, but I am still, a virgin and deserve someone far greater. My husband must not just be comfortable, he must be extremely rich. The kind of man who will drive me in the latest car and take me to places beyond this village. I cannot settle for less. Silence filled the compound. The doctor looked at her as if he had just seen a ghost. Her parents gasped. Even the lizard on the wall seemed to pause. Dr. Obinna smiled sadly, bowed respectfully to her parents, and walked away without another word. The villagers who had been peeping and eavesdropping shook their heads in disbelief. By the next day, the whole village was buzzing with the news. Ego had rejected the most eligible bachelor, claiming her virginity deserved a richer man. At the saloon, the women laughed till their sides ached. One of them joked, maybe she's waiting for Dangote's son. Another added. But Ego didn't care. She strutted through the village like a queen, convinced that her true destiny was still ahead. After Dr. Obinna left in disappointment, Ego's parents could no longer hold their tongues. That evening, they sat Ego down in the living room, their faces heavy with anger and frustration. Ego, her father began, his deep voice echoing in the small room. Do you know what you have done? That young doctor is the kind of man parents pray for, educated, respectful, and with a good job. Yet, you threw him away like rotten fish. Ego's mother slapped her lap to fiakwa. God forbid, my daughter. Are you all right at all? Don't you know that marriage is more than beauty and virginity? A woman needs humility, patience, and hard work. Look at you. What do you even do from morning till night apart from painting your nails and gossiping in the useless saloon? But Ego sat calmly, almost amused. Mother, father, you don't understand. Dr. Obinna is good, I agree, but he is not the best. I am still untouched. Do you know what that means? I cannot just waste myself on any man. My husband must be a man of high status, the kind that will carry me in SUV cars, take me abroad, and treat me like a queen. You will see. I know what I deserve. Her father nearly fell off his chair. SUV kwa, abroad kwa. Which abroad? Are you a princess, Ego? Stop deceiving yourself. A woman does not build her home with virginity. Even if you must even ask for these things, are you one yourself? You don't even bring anything to the table except these things you keep repeating, and it is becoming embarrassing. Or do you think marriage is a fashion parade? But Ego only shrugged, smiling proudly. Papa, you people will thank me later when you see me married into wealth. Oh, I will break down this house and build another one for you. Her parents exchanged a hopeless glance. They knew their daughter's pride had blocked her ears. All they could do was shake their head and pray that one day life would humble her. Despite her parents' warnings, Ego continued her careless, free lifestyle. Every morning, she woke up late, bathed lazily, and strolled to Mama Nkechi's salon, where she became a permanent fixture. The salon was the village unofficial radio station. Any news worth knowing passed through there first. Who quarrelled with who was owing who, and who secretly was seeing who. Ego loved it. She would sit there, chewing groundnuts, painting her nails, and inserting herself into every conversation. And one afternoon, while women were discussing the rising price of kerosene, Ego found a way to bring her favorite topic into the matter. That is why I need a rich husband, oh, she said, adjusting her wrapper proudly. At least I have kept myself pure. My virginity alone is enough to attract a wealthy man. I cannot be suffering with poor people, oh. The women looked at each other and shook their head. Mama Nkechi couldn't hold herself. Ego, my daughter, you talk too much about this. Does that mean there is nothing more to you than being a virgin? I don't even understand. Does it boil water or does it pay school fees? If you don't learn sense now, you will regret later. Oh. Another woman added with a chuckle, Ego, remember that pride goes before a fall. Better humble yourself before life humble you. But Ego only laughed, tossing her braided hair. All of you will see one day. You will call me Madam Big Madam. Then you will remember I told you I am special. As she walked out, some of the women hissed while others laughed. To them, Ego was like a child playing with fire and expecting not to get burnt. It was one hot afternoon. Ego decided to take her usual lazy stroll along the village road. She carried herself like a queen, expecting her kingdom, ignoring greetings unless they came with extra respect. Suddenly, a black SUV slowed down beside her, its engine humming softly. The tinted glass slid down and a handsome young man leaned out, well dressed and smelled of expensive perfume even from inside the car. "Hello, beautiful," he said with a charming smile. "What's your name?" Ego's heart skipped. This was the moment she had been waiting for. She smiled widely, tilting her head in her usual proud manner. "I am Adaego, but everyone call me Ego. Ego," the man repeated smoothly. "Beautiful name for a beautiful woman. My name is Max. I am in this village for a project, but seeing you here, I feel like the project has already succeeded." Ego giggled like a schoolgirl. She had heard compliments before, but something about Max's confidence thrilled her. He looked like the exact type of man she had been describing: young, rich, and clearly from the city. Max parked the car and stepped out. He was even more handsome up close. "Ego, I must say, you are the most beautiful woman I have ever seen in this village. Ego, you are like a diamond among stones. Do you live around here?" "Yes," Ego replied proudly, her cheeks glowing. "This is my father's compound nearby." From that moment, Max and Ego became inseparable. He visited her often and sometimes taking her for short drives. He showered her with sweet words, calling her special, precious, diamond, and the kind of woman every man dreams of. Ego soaked it all in like a sponge. Within short time, Max told her, Ego, I love you. I want to marry you. You are exactly the kind of woman I have been searching for all my life. Beautiful, untouched, and worthy of a rich man's love. Those words made Ego's head swell. She ran home and told her parents, dancing with excitement, Papa, Mama, my prayer has been answered. A rich man has come for me. His name is Max. He loves me and wants to marry me. He said I am the kind of woman every wealthy man desires. Her parents were not as excited. They asked questions about Max's family, his background, and his intention. But Ego waved them off. Don't worry, Papa. Max has already invited me to the city to meet with his parents next tomorrow. He said it's part of preparing for our wedding. Imagine. He appreciates that I kept myself. Oh my God. I am glad my virginity did not waste, unlike other girls. I am going to the city to meet with Max's parents. Ego's parents exchanged weary glances. Something about Max felt too sudden, too smooth, but Ego was blinded by her excitement. At last, she believed she had found the man deserving of her. And for the first time in her life, Ego felt like she was living her dream. Whenever Max's XUV rolled into the village, people stopped to stare. Children ran after the car, shouting, Ego's husband has come. And women at Mama Nkechi's salon whispered with envy. Ego basks in the attention. She walked around with all her shoulders high, smiling like a queen who had finally found her throne. At the saloon, she no longer bragged about her virginity. She didn't need to. Max's presence spoke louder than her words ever did. My people, Ego said one afternoon as she sat in the saloon fanning herself proudly. You see what I was saying? I told you I cannot wait myself for ordinary men. Oh, ha! I was born for something bigger and great. Now, my own husband Max has come, a rich, fine man who appreciates that I kept myself. Soon, you will all be calling me madam. Some women hissed, others laughed, but a few looked genuinely worried. Mama Nkechi pulled her aside. Ego, be careful. Not everything that glitters is gold. But Ego brushed it off. Ha! Mama Nkechi, you are just jealous. Max is my destiny helper. Oh. You will see. At home, her parents remained unconvinced. Ego, her father warned, we don't know this man. Marriage is not something you rush into. You rejected good men from this village, yet you want to follow a stranger you barely know and go and see his parents in the city just because he told you he wants to marry you. Be wise. And I don't even want you to go. But Ego wouldn't hear it. Papa, Mama, you don't understand. Are you people standing on my way to success? Max is the one. He told me he wants to introduce me to his parents in the city. That is how serious he is. Do you think a man with money and status would waste his time if he wasn't genuine? Please, allow me follow my happiness now. Her parents sighed, helpless. Ego's mind was made up. The day Ego was going to see Max's parents came quickly. Ego dressed in her best lace blouse and wrapper, sprayed so much perfume that even the goat outside sneezed, and packed a small bag for the journey. Max arrived in his shiny SUV, honked proudly, and stepped out to greet her parents. Papa, Mama, don't worry, oh, he said with a charming smile. Your daughter is safe with me. I will take care of her as my own jewel. Though her parents still felt uneasy, Ego hugged them and waved excitedly. Don't worry, I will call you when I get to the city, she shouted as she slid into the car. The drive started smoothly. Ego looked out of the window, imagining herself living in a mansion, shopping in the city, and wearing designer clothes. Max played soft music and kept glancing at her with a smile. Everything felt perfect until the car suddenly slowed down. "What's happening?" Ego asked. Hmm, Max muttered, pretending to frown. "It seems something is wrong with the car. Let me park and check." He pulled over in a lonely, bushy area, birds chirping eerie in the distance, and the road was quiet. Max got out, opened the bonnet, and after a few minutes shut it again. Then, shockingly, he reached into the car and pulled out a gun. Ego's heart froze. What are you doing?" she stammered, her voice trembling. Mark's charming smile was gone. His eyes turned cold. "Ego, you are not going to the city. You are going to make me rich. I needed a beautiful, untouched girl for my ritual. You are just perfect." Ego screamed and dashed out of the car, her slippers flying off. Ego ran into the bush with all her strength, branches scratching her skin and thorns tearing her wrapper. Behind her, Max shouted, "Stop running! You can't escape me!" The sound of his footstep and the occasional crack of twigs filled the air. Fear gave Ego wings. She stumbled, fell, got up again and kept running. Her chest pounded, her throat was dry, but she refused to stop. She remembered her parents' warning, the villagers' laughter, and suddenly her pride melted into raw desperation. At one point, Max fired a shot into the air. The sound echoed through the forest, making birds scatter. Ego screamed louder and ran deeper. She didn't know where she was going to. She only knew she had to survive. Night fell, and Max's voice grew faint. Exhausted, Ego collapsed under a tree, her body shaking. She spent the night in fear, unable to sleep, praying for morning lights. For 2 days, she wandered through the bush, hungry, thirsty, and weak. Her wrapper was torn, her legs were swollen from scratches, and her once beautiful face was now covered in dust and tears. Several times she thought she would die, but somehow she kept moving. On the third morning, she stumbled out of the forest onto a familiar path leading back to UCHE village. Her legs wobbled, but the sight of home gave her strength. When Ego staggered into the village, barefooted and dirty, people gasped in shock. Children screamed and ran to call her parents. "Papa, Mama, Ego, rush out oh!" Tears filled their eyes as they saw their daughter alive but broken. "Mama, Papa," Ego cried, falling into their arms. I I almost died. Max was a ritualist. He wanted to use me, but I escaped. I should have listened to you." Word spread quickly, and soon villagers gathered around their compound. Women shook their head, men sighed, and the saloon ladies gossiped loudly. "So the rich man was a ritualist?" one asked. Did we not warn her? She always announces her virginity like a town crier. Now, see what it has landed her." Some laughed, others pitied her, but everyone agreed Ego had been taught a bitter lesson. And from that day, the villagers never forgot the lesson of Adaego, the beautiful, foolish virgin who almost lost her life chasing wealth and pride. Thank you for watching this story. I hope you enjoyed watching. Kindly share with us the valuable lessons you have learned from this story as we interact in the comment section. Like this video, please, and kindly do well to subscribe to this channel if you're not already subscribed. Share this video to your loved ones. Thank you. Until I come your way again with another story, for now, from me, it is bye.